Hey guys, Zak Ciotti here. I just wanted to show you this cool little animation that I started making. It's not completely officially greenlit just yet, so the version that you're looking at right now may still have some changes to come, but check it out. How cool is this? I mean, lots of different effects, completely 100% CGI, no footage involved at all whatsoever. Everything custom made in After Effects based on this storyboard here, following it frame by frame exactly. Now, I have to say, I didn't make this whole thing. I am not a 3D modeler. I made little bits and pieces. I combined little elements of other things using Element 3D, like you see right here. And, you know, it takes some effort, you know, trying to figure out how to take stuff from an OBJ file, which I could only really open up in Blender, and then bring it into Element 3D and color it and add my little labels and different things like that. Really, really fancy, fun stuff. But again, you know, I'm not the modeler. The model was given to us by someone overseas, and I had a friend here locally in the North Carolina area who is a much better modeler than I will ever be, and he helped me put this together. The only part that I did use footage is the fog in the background. You can see laying low over there. And I made this cool transition layer using find edges, extract, and fill, just so you can see what it looks like there. And I simply faded one off and faded the other on. And this is how we have that nice fancy transition. And the text over there, all done in Video Copilot's Saber. I made particles out of Element 3D, something that you're not necessarily supposed to be able to do. I have the shallow depth of field turn on, so when you take a look at all these different layers, you know, I'm using the Saber effect to show this electricity that's charging all the particles. And again, what we were going for in the storyboard was this look right here. And simply put, these particles were a start and stop, beginning, ending, 2 keyframe animation using the animation engine in Video Copilot's Element plugin. I simply replicated the same droplet seen in the video before about 800 times. If you look really closer, you can actually see the texture of each of the little particles. And you know, it may look like motion blur, but that's actually the shallow depth of field that's there. And there's a reason why some of them look kind of stretched and so on. But again, you know, they do look like little droplets, little bubbles of water. I had to duplicate starting from the top one and then move it to the bottom one and the other one, and I just rendered out different alpha channels. I made sure that the particles began off-screen and ended off-screen so you don't see where the movement happened. But really, it was just transitioning from one set of particles in a tight, small space at the beginning of the nozzle and then off-screen in a wider space. Everything is happening in 3D, as you can see here in this 2-view window shot. But let me show you what the sprays look like individually. Like I said, rendered them out. I duplicated all 3 layers and made an add layer, put a gradient ramp on there just to keep showing what it looks like, because look, it's a little too dark with just the ramp, and so having that add layer, that transfer mode, really makes it pop out and look like clear water that gets charged electrically and starts to look all blue and zappy. To achieve that swirling effect so that they don't move from point A to point B, I just added a warp mesh warp effect in After Effects. And this droplet here, check it out, it's getting electrified again by a 2D layer, but the thing I wanted to show you, when they come in and collide and you see the plus sign appear showing that they are, I did add another little piece of footage that shows a spark. It looks significantly more realistic, and if I walk you through frame by frame, you can start seeing how each of these sparks fall off. And it just adds this little sense of realism, probably because it is real footage. So I lied about there not being real footage, but it is very minimal. Because things move so fast, you really can't tell that it's there. But it's kind of that subconscious detail that helps. And check out this metallic ball. I used just the replicator effect. This is all happening on one layer. All of these particles become electrified by the Saber effect, and they all start zooming in and attach to the surface. And so there you have your static electric effect going on with all the water droplets around this miscellaneous metal ball thing. And the one thing that I do need to finish up today, the last thing that I'm going to be doing, is fixing up this so that it's not so modelly looking. It has to look a little bit more like this. I don't think it's going to look quite as close with all those fine details and the little specular highlights on everything, or the little pieces of dirt or dust. But this little piece that I made here, this little clip, that actually I made in a really simple way using Element 3D. Again, I'm not a modeler, but thankfully they have a couple of different methods to do this. Using a mask, you could make the shape as it looks sideways, and then when I open up Element 3D here, I'm going to show you, they have a little thing on a custom layer that you can set an extrude layer. So there it is. I actually had to go in and make some adjustments to the size, the stretch, the width, and that sort of thing. And I added that cool texture to make it look like some rough plastic, just like, I mean, as close as I could to the actual photo of the product. So when you see that rough look in the product, you kind of have a similar sense of that the plastic isn't perfectly smooth. The other thing is this very geometrical looking tube here, that cylinder. Adding the label and smoothing that out will be no problem. Adding some finishing touches on the top, making sure this looks much more like the photo. It does take a little bit of elbow grease, but once you get the hang of it, it is really satisfying to see that final product. So here's the before and here's the after. So this is the new one. You don't see those lines up and down the shaft, and you see some nice little specular highlights on the top right there with the metal piece, and the different light touching the plastic white line. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. This has been such a delight hanging out with you guys. Please subscribe. I'd love for you to watch more of my behind the scenes and how I pull off everything that I do. Thank you again. My name is Zak Ciotti, and we will catch you later.